It's Storytime Tea, that's me, and today I'm here to tell you a story about a person I've spoken about before. Okay? So, this story is about the person that I went on that bad trip with. So, if you didn't watch that 3-part story, that was a good one. So, might as well just go watch Bad Trip, all 3 parts, and then come back to this. If you don't want to, that's cool. I'm not in charge. But that's one of my favorite ones. So yeah, the person that I went on that trip with, obviously I made a 3-part story about it. So it was mad hours of me talking about this person. That wasn't all of it. I still got so much to say about this trip and about this person because it literally was the most ridiculous thing to ever happen to me. Like top 5 most ridiculous things that ever happened to me. So yeah, I was just like, let me make another story because I didn't have enough time in that one, okay? So this is an isolated event from the time that I traveled out the country. That's the background knowledge. Okay, so let me set the scene. This is like a cool day 5, day 6 or something of us being out there. And he kind of just would randomly bring up stuff that I didn't want to talk about, as I have said in the other video, right? So he was just like, oh yeah, what is your definition of a real man? And I was just like, oh man, he about to get me in trouble. He about to cook me. He about to be talking for 7 hours about this. I don't even know how far the next distance is. And I was just like, dang, I think we got like 30 minutes to walk. Oh, he about to wild out right now. And I was just like, it's crazy that you asked me that question because I was just about to ask you that question. So I kind of tried to trick my way out of it and just see what he was going to say first because I'm just like, bruh, nah. So he was just like, well, you know, to be honest, there aren't really any more real men out there. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. Wow, really? And he was just like, yeah, like you just don't get it really because you're a woman. And I was just like, you're right, because I'm a woman. So enlighten me, let me know, like give me the background knowledge, give me the Googles, give me what you're thinking, like let me know. And he's just like, well, you know, a real man knows how to fight. I'm like, all right, bet. He's just like, a real man, they really know how to take charge. And I'm just like, cool, bet. He was just like, you know, a lot of these men out here, they don't really know how to be a real man. They worried about their credit score. They worried about their little jobs. Like, who cares about your little job and your credit score? And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, bet. I'm just like, just go ahead and let me know. Give me more. And so it's just like he was taking so long on just certain parts, like really trying to emphasize to me that like your credit score does not matter and your job does not matter because that doesn't make you a man, or like you don't need those things in order to be a man. And I was just like, okay. So, I mean, you telling me what I don't need in order to be a man. So tell me what I do need in order to be a man. Come on, let's go. So it's just like, no, but I'm just saying, like, people really think that job matters, that credit score matters. Nobody cares about your little mortgage. Like, nobody cares that you have a house. Nobody cares. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, you know. And so I'm literally just sitting there like, what's going on? And so he's just like, yeah. He was just like, a real man need to be more combative. Like these men, they don't really know how to talk. They don't really know how to argue. They don't know how to get their point across. Like, why aren't you combative enough to be da 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 da? And I'm just like, oh, all right. So I need to be combative. I need to know how to fight. Cool, bet. And I'm just like, after job, after house, after credit score, I need to know how to fight and I need to be combative. Cool. I'm gonna be a real man. And so it was just like, yeah. And a lot of men, they really think that somebody care about what they got on. Nobody cares about your clothes. And I'm just like, all right, bet. It was just like, a lot of men don't even know how to drive a stick shift. And I'm just like, buddy, do you know how to drive a stick shift? But I didn't say anything. And he was just like, a lot of men don't know how to farm. Like, why don't they know how to farm? I'm just like, Brody, do you know how to farm? But I was just like, I'm gonna just let you cook. And so he was just like, the fact that you're 22 and you don't know how to farm is crazy. The fact that you've never ridden a horse is crazy. Mind you, he from Baltimore. Where did you ride the horses at? And how you gonna do this stuff if you don't have no land? I'm like, you talking crap about people that's trying to get a house and trying to buy land, but you can't like really farm if you don't have no land. Where are you farming at? In your living room? I'm confused. Gardening and farming is two different things. So I'm just like, you can have a little baby garden like out back at your rental property, I guess, but you can't be farming. You can't be digging up the lands to farm no corn or something. So I'm just confused. I'm just like, what are you talking about? But I'm just like, I'm gonna let him cook. And so he's just like, yeah, a lot of people never even seen a horse before. And I'm just like, I mean, as I said, we from Baltimore, so I'm just like, I don't really think it's too many options for that. I don't think that really makes sense for city folk. But if we lived in West Virginia type, or like if we had land type, I guess it makes sense. You know, having horses and stuff like that is a lot of maintenance and it's a lot of money. You can't just buy a horse today. You can't just pull up somewhere and be like, I want a horse. They're gonna be like, where will you be keeping this horse? Because you need to have land for the horse. You can't just have it in your backyard, my guy. So I'm confused. But I'm just like, I'm gonna let you talk because like, get it off. Get that off. And so he's just like, the amount of men that I've met that have never farmed before is ridiculous. And they think somebody care that they're making 6 figures at their little job. Nobody care about their little job. They go ahead, every man just goes and puts a suit on and goes into work and works for somebody else. Nobody really out here for real. They not really in the streets for real. And I'm just like, what do you mean by in the streets? What do you mean by that? I'm confused. I'm like, in the streets? And then the thing is, it's not like he did like illegal selling of drugs or like I don't know what he meant by in the streets. I was confused. And so I'm just like, okay, now I'm about to just start asking you questions because you bugging. And so he was like, yeah, a lot of men, they're not even tall anymore. Men don't even come tall anymore. And I'm just like, men don't come tall anymore? I'm like, there's no tall men? I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't know. Wow, that's really crazy. Like, half my brothers is above 6 feet, but I mean, men don't come tall anymore, so I don't, I'm just like, I'm so confused. And I'm just like, okay, well, do you farm? You know how to farm? He was just like, so like, I mean, how can I explain this to you? Like, I know the workings of farming. I've read a couple of books on farming. And I'm just like, how many books? He was just like, you don't need to read a lot of books to know about farming. Like, either it's in you or it's not. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. Because I'm like, it's a lot that go into the soil. You need to know about your area that you're in, like what type of stuff actually grows where you are, and like how beneficial it would be for you to have certain things. You need to know the products that you need to use. You need to know like what's the right time to plant certain things. Like, I'm just like, you can't just farm today. You can't just randomly decide, you know what, I'm gonna start me a farm. You can't do that. I'm like, if you're gonna have some chickens, you gotta know what they eat. You need to know the proper way to protect them. Like, what's the right living conditions for them? Like, you can't just farm, my guy. You can't just start like getting some pigs. You can't just pick up some cows one day. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you know nothing about agriculture. I'm confused. And so he's just like, yeah, I read a book, what was it called? Agriculture 101. And I'm just like, you just making stuff up. You making stuff up. You didn't read no book about agriculture. And I'm like, you don't know how to farm. And I'm just like, even if you read a book about farming, you still don't know how to farm. You gotta be at a farm and like learn from farmers how to farm. You can't just pick it up one day and just decide you're gonna do it. So I'm just like, yo, you really just chatting. And so he was just like, yeah, so like I would just be a really good farmer. I haven't had an opportunity to farm yet, but like I know exactly what I'm doing. I've read so much about it. Like I know how everything goes in farming. So no, I haven't had my own farm yet, but I could start today. Like if somebody just gave me the land today and just put me out there and say farm, I would be able to do it. And I'm just like he made me mad. But like I wasn't like real mad, but I was just like because it just didn't make any sense. So I'm just like, all right, well, we're gonna go into your next thing that made people real men. And so you said farming. You clearly ain't farming, but we're gonna let you rock because you said you know agriculture and you know like how the animals be and you done read the books. That's what you done said. I'm gonna believe you. It's whatever. I'll let you have that 1 point for real man, okay? And so then he was just like the whole thing with the driving stick, and I'm just like, you ever had a stick shift car? And he was just like, well, you know, and I'm just like, here you go with this bullshit. I'm like, yo, what do you mean I know? Like, what are you trying to say? He's just like, well, I've never had a car before, but if I was to have a car, I would get a stick shift because that's a real man's car. Not anybody can just come up to a stick shift and drive it. And I know how to drive stick. And I'm just like, oh, how did you learn? He was just like, oh, one of my friends got a stick shift and I drove it for like 2 days. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm like, was they there with you? He's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, the whole time, like I watched him drive it and everything like that. So I know how to drive a stick. And I'm just like, you keep on, I'm about to bang you. You keep on saying like you done did something. And then when I ask you about it, you ain't really done did it. You didn't do it. You didn't drive the stick shift. You don't know how to drive. You witnessed somebody driving it. Witnessing somebody drive a stick shift is different than actually driving a stick shift. You're going to get in an accident. You don't know what you're doing. And so I'm just like, this is insane. And he's just like, yeah, it's like, you know, show one, do one, teach one type of thing. So, you know, he showed me one. Next time I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to show somebody because I gotta make sure the youth is okay. I gotta make sure that the men really know how to drive stick because it's a dying art. And I'm just like, you don't know how to drive stick. So you cannot teach nothing if you have never done it. And so I'm just like, you know what? Let's move on to the next one. We're gonna say 0.2 for you being a real man because like, you just lying at this point. Let's just go. And so I'm just like, okay, so you know how to fight, right? And he's just like, yeah, I can fight. And I'm just like, You tested this. he's just like, yeah, when I was a kid, I used to fight all the time. And I'm just like, that's not the same. I'm just like, you're a grown man now. Like, that's not the same. I'm like, fighting as a kid and fighting now is two different things. People really got hands now. People really got hands and people really got weapons too. You gotta be able to fight your way out of all of that. I don't think you know what the real life is. I don't think you know what the real world is. Because what do you mean when you was a kid you used to fight a lot? What does that have to do with now? I'm like, sir, you older than me. What's going on? What's going on? Did you take any classes? Do you have a bunch of friends that get in bar fights all the time and you always there and you make sure that they win the fight? Or like can you tell me like some real world application that you done did in recent times of you knowing how to fight? Because I'm just like, you won't get beat up. You look like you would get beat up. You look like I beat you up. I'm just like, what are you talking about? And so he's just like, well, you know, like things like that, it never leaves you. It's just like riding a bike. It's like if you fought before, you'll be able to fight again. You'll be able to win again. As long as you done fought before, then da 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 da. And I'm just like, I'm like, sir, I'm ready to bang you. I'm ready to bang you because you're not even making sense. You literally just saying something. Let me test the theory. Do you really know how to fight? Because I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, what are you actually talking about? What do you mean? If you knew how to fight when you was younger, you know how to fight now. Them hits don't hit the same. Like, you will get knocked out. What are you talking about? What's happening in your brain right now? And I was just like, you know what? You got it. If you learned how to fight when you was little, you know how to fight forever. You can beat anybody up. You can protect yourself. You got it. I'm like, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing honest with you, because now you're just saying stuff, and if we just both gonna keep on just saying stuff, you got it. And so I was just like, all right, well, point 3 for being a real man. I'm like, okay, and what was the other thing? Being combative? You need to be combative? Okay, how have you done that in your life? Like, what have you... Like, it was just like all of his things was just like things that literally did not apply to him, but he was just saying like that's what a real man is. And so I'm just like, the fact that you just keep on like saying all these things that make a real man and then they don't even apply to you, I'm just like, you literally just listing stuff at this point. Like, you're just saying, you're just talking, you're literally just saying stuff, and I don't know what compelled you to say this stuff to me. Because I feel like this would be a more appropriate conversation to have with a man and tell him how he not a real man instead of telling me, because none of this stuff got nothing to do with me and I'm a woman. So like, it's like, do you want me to be looking for this in my upcoming relationships? Like, should I be looking for somebody that is combative and drives a stick? I should be looking for somebody that know how to farm. Like, it'd be tough. Like, it'd be cool if I knew somebody that knew how to farm. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be decent. I know a couple people that know how to garden. I know a couple people that really be out there with the strawberries, all right? I know a couple people that got some peppers in their backyard. I know a couple people. But farming different. So I'm just like, that would be cool. And, you know, knowing people that know how to fight, that's always good. I don't want them to fight, though. But it's cool to know that you can do it. So I'm just like, all right. I mean, I guess these are things that would be cool to have in a person. But to say that somebody isn't a real man because they don't know how to farm is type crazy. And like, who is driving a stick shift nowadays? Like, you don't need to do all of that extra work. It's cool if you know how to drive it, but like, why does that make you a real man or not? Like, and so it was like, I think it was a cool 10 things that he said make you a real man. And I literally just was like, it's so many people out there that this does not apply to that I would classify as a real man. But I guess that's why you saying there is no real men, because I can't think of one person that like went in alignment with all 10 things that he had to say. Because I'm just like, people go to work. It's like he wanted you to have the land to farm. But he thought that buying a house was dumb, and he thought that having a real job, not a real job, but like having a corporate job was dumb. And I'm just like, a lot of people that got corporate jobs make enough money to where as though they can buy the land so now that they can be a farmer. You don't want them to go to get the money so that they can be a farmer? I'm like, I don't think all of their brains are saying, let me get this money so I can farm. But I'm just like, you got to get the money somehow. So it's just like, why are you being mean to people because they have a regular job, like a regular little in a cubicle job? Those jobs are making money sometimes, depending on what you got going on. These little regular jobs are making a lot of money. Like, why can't they go to their regular job and make their money? I'm confused. Why are you talking shit about these people? I'm like, what's going on? And so he was just like, yeah, I bet you never even dated a farmer before. And I was just like, to be honest, I did date one for a short period of time, but like, he had to farm all the time. So, you know, he didn't really have time to be dating anybody. So like, I stopped talking to him. He was like, you lost one. L to you. I was like, L to me? like the way that he would talk, it was just comical how he would talk to me and people in general. Cause I'm just like, what do you mean L to me? Like what's going on? And he was just like, yeah, cause I would have stayed with him. I'm like, oh, you would have stayed with him? I'm glad you would have stayed with him. Like, what are you saying? I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. Because obviously, I've never met a real man before, and I'm going to let you cook, I'm going to let you rock, I'm going to let you do whatever it is that you're going to do, because I ain't never met no real man before. And the one real man that I had this small encounter with, that was the one that I should have stayed with. Nothing else mattered, because he knew how to farm. And if he know how to farm, he real strong, and he could probably fight too. And if he know how to farm, obviously he know how to drive stick. And he not going to just submit to anything that anybody say. He's going to be very combative, okay? Yo, I don't know. I just live here, like, I just exist in a world with men like this. I'm not saying he crazy or anything. I'm not saying necessarily that everything he said was wrong. I'm not saying that. I just wanted to let y'all know, because I'm just like, what do you think a real man is? What do you think a real man is? Because I don't know. Like, I never actually answered his question. I just ignored him and just let him talk the whole entire walk. And we was walking for like 37 minutes. I just let him talk the entire time about what a real man is and what a real man isn't. I just let him talk, because I was just like, if I talk, he gonna be mad at me. And I don't got time for that. And it's just like, literally, most of the stuff that he said, it's just like, it's okay, or it would be good if a person had these qualities, but to say that if they don't have these qualities or if they don't do these certain things, they aren't a real man, I just felt like that was actually ridiculous. And I'm just like, and being as though all of this stuff do not apply to you, it's extra ridiculous, because you are not a real man by your own definition. So what's going on? But I was like, you know what? And so at the end of the walk, obviously, I just was looking at him like, yo, bugging. But yeah, I just came here to let y'all know that was it. And obviously, I'm at my 2-year mark. Like, I became 2 years December the 12th. Okay, that was my little anniversary. I celebrated on my own. And I would really appreciate it if you like the video, comment, subscribe if you are new, or subscribe if you just like to watch my videos and not subscribe. Like, because I know y'all out here, I be seeing y'all. But I appreciate y'all for coming to see me. And the moral of the story is, always be very observant. Always listen. Listen more than you talk, because when you listen to people, you get to know more about them. And you get to know more about the situation that you're in, and understanding what's going to happen next, or what's likely to happen next. So absorbing information helps you create a better future for yourself and going forward in relationships with people. Okay, so yeah, do that. And for me, Storytime Touch, the tea is over. Peace and love.